it was impossible for me to sit down and watch a graphic designer do their work, let alone be a graphic designer myself.
Welcome back, guys. We are talking Serenity Festival again. And today I'm joined by Gumball Green, creator, illustrator, painter, muralist. Gumball, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you so much. Yes, I've had a very productive morning. Um, Everything that I have had to do is done, and now I'm here and available for you. How are you?
Hey, man, I'm doing so good today, Wednesday, midday, midway through the week. But Gumball, we want to talk about Serenity Festival and the creative workshops, creative activities, and beautiful creations. And you're involved in creating some murals for this festival. So maybe first tell us why you into murals and what's so special about them.
Well, I'm into murals because um, as an artist, one tends to spend a lot of time in the studio. You you don't really get to interact with the world a lot. So a lot of artists are very introverted indoors, but I really love interacting with people and I love being outside. I love the world and nature, and so murals sort of give me an opportunity to be an artist in the world, in public, to create art that is directly uh, that people can interact with directly, like face value. And I love most painting murals, especially in like outside public spaces where people can come and see what I'm doing, watch the process unfold over time. And sometimes you will find somebody who is very passionate about an art, about murals, about becoming an artist one day, and find inspiration and might even want to join in and help paint the mural with me. So a lot of the times something like that will happen, and I really enjoy that. That is part of the reason why I love being a muralist. And I mean, the major reason is that you leave something for the whole world to be able to interact with long after you've gone. So it's a good way to create timeless art for the city.
Yeah, man. And I've seen some of the art you've done around Pretoria, and it really transforms that whole area. Like this dilapidated kind of building. It might look a little run down, but once you've gone and put some artwork on there, and you put like an artwork on the whole side, it just really changes that whole space. And it's just something pretty now when it was just dull and boring. Now it just has something so much more beautiful to look at. So we really, really appreciate that, man. Such cool stuff. Did you want to comment on that?
Yeah, no, I mean that is definitely the power of murals, is that they're able to transform a space tremendously. Um, it can really turn something that is mundane, everyday, something that people are sick and tired of looking at, to the point of this apathy that people can sort of, apathy is something that you don't witness yourself turning into. It's just the environment begins to deteriorate, and you don't realize that while it's happening. Only long after a while do you realize that the environment around you actually needs some sort of attention and maintenance. And a mural can really bring attention to that in a space very, very dramatically in a very effective way. So murals have a very powerful way of uplifting environments and making people feel revitalized about their environment and a new perspective to dream and to look forward to tomorrow. So yeah.
Wonderful. That's so beautiful. So I have to tell you this story. So my little daughter, she's like 7, 8 years old, and she's, at that age where she likes painting and doing creative arts and all that stuff. So I've been encouraging her. I think I brought it to the workshop that you and Johnny did a couple of weeks ago. She had a wonderful time. So I've been showing her like some of these videos of you guys painting chicken licken murals and all these other stuff that you post. And then she loves the videos, but one day she asked me, she's like, what does Johnny and Gumball do for a living? Like I see them painting these cool stuff, but what do they actually do for work? And I'm like, no, this is their work. And she was like, what? This is their work? And it was like such a huge um, light bulb moment for her because all the adults that she's seen in her life have been like me, her mom, all her uncles. We're all doing boring work. We're at our computer doing emails, like my, my wife's a scientist, so she goes to the office and does science work, and all these people, and she sees on TV and all the programs and all the cartoons she watches. She's never in her mind fathomed that people can do art for a living. She's like, what? People pay Johnny and Gumball to paint? This is what they do. They get paid to paint. And I'm like, yeah, that's what you do. If you want to do that, you can do that too. This is just an amazing thing that's available. So yeah, I just thought that was so special. And it's important that people can realize that creativity is not just something for fun. It actually can become your vocation. It can become how you earn a living. And imagine just having fun doing work as opposed to 90% of the people who are working who hate their jobs.
Absolutely. No, for me, that was absolutely I had to live that way. Ever since I was in high school, I saw how people work. I saw uh, the way adults sort of live their lives, and I always saw that as being chained to the system, sort of like a slavery way of living. And it's fair to acknowledge that some of these jobs are necessary. Like plumbing and the roads. Somebody has to build the roads and this and that. But if you want to, so for me, my light bulb really happened when I was in college, and I did an internship at a very big company in South Africa, and I was in the design agency, the design department in that room, and I was interning to be a graphic designer, and I realized that what they were assigned to do was sit behind a cubicle desk the whole day and just follow instructions, doing this, getting the information, turning it into something, and then passing it along. And that for me was so impossible. It was impossible for me to sit down and watch a graphic designer do their work, let alone be a graphic designer myself. I found myself going up and down the entire company, the entire building, interviewing everybody in every position, the photographers, the buyers, the the CEO, um, the fashion designers, the art directors, just so that I could grab a bigger picture of what the whole company as an entity was up to. And I think that is really a testament to my temperament, that I am that kind of person, and I couldn't have been somebody who just did their job and little things. So what I realized was, the higher you went up the ladder, the more personal the job was. And the lower you went, the more people sort of saw their job as like a daytime thing, and then they had their other separate life. And so I really wanted my job to be my life, and my the way I sleep, the way I eat, the way I walk, the way I dress, and what I do have to be integrated, so that no point in my life do I ever feel like I am enslaved to something or doing something that I don't enjoy doing. And I think I really try to inspire all my friends, because I also realized that everybody has a spark of light and a spark of talent in them. Everybody, whether it is drawing or music or writing or poetry, and I really try to inspire people to lean more into that and take that seriously, and someone told me this weekend, don't try, just do it, you know. And that is kind of the answer, is that you have to, that has to be your life. That is the only way you can do it. And if that becomes your life, you can even, your life can be building Lego toys, you know. That can become your life if you take it seriously enough. So it's, yeah, absolutely possible to live life the way you want it.
Such inspirational words. Thank you, Gumball. So, Gumball, let's talk about Serenity Festival, right? I mean, that's coming up soon, and you're painting and going to be involved in a huge mural that you're creating for Serenity Festival along with your team. Tell us what you got planned, because I know you've got like some hidden gems of wisdom in this mural.
Yeah. No, I'm working with Johnny Ellison, and we're going to have a bunch of muralists coming over at Serenity to paint. Everybody's going to have a piece of their mural. Johnny is also going to paint something for himself, and he's going to run a workshop on how to paint. And um, we try to encourage every muralist to bring something beyond just the intention of painting a wall. So my intention with my wall and my mural is to run a workshop on how to read ancient symbols in different cultures. So what we don't realize, especially in growing up, is that we are actually um, we are confronted with symbols that we don't realize are actually a part of a language of symbols. So, you know, it's almost as if different cultures and religions have borrowed from this alphabet, the little alphabets from every, how do you say, like there's like a periodic table of symbols that religions and cultures have come to borrow symbols from in order to teach their wisdom and knowledge. And these symbols are borrowed and shared, and you can see commonalities. Um, and you know, they go very deep, and they have very deep, meaningful things that they represent. And once you actually begin to connect the dots between these symbols across cultures, you begin to have a much more personalized, much more clear perspective of what these symbols mean. And you're able to now begin to create art in a much more educated way, using symbols in the right way. And um, they can become your tools to convey your message, you know. So that is kind of my workshop. So what I will be doing is I will first be running my students across the symbols in the first session, what symbols mean, where in which cultures they show up, and how they mean the same thing. So a good example is the cup. So in many symbols, in many cultures and religions, you will hear of this chalice, that that is like this magical thing that, uh, who knows what it means, right? But the simple thing that I've found that it means is that it means compassion. And it's the best story that it is illustrated in is in the story of Jesus Christ, where he turns blood into wine. And this is kind of the idea of compassion, is uh, sacrificing oneself, and that sacrifice is a sweet thing for somebody else, you know. So like, if you, it's difficult to help somebody, not that it's impossible or that it is a sad thing, but it's a hard thing to sort of put yourself aside so that somebody else can survive or live, you know, to take out a piece of your own and give it to somebody else, to take out a 10 rand out of your wallet and give it to somebody who needs it. For you it is blood, and but for them it is wine. And so this is the art of compassion, and it is best symbolized by this cup. um, the same the same cup can be seen in the tarot cards. One of the wizard's tools is a cup, and in the same way it means the same thing. So the cup is this. as a symbol of its own, has a very simple meaning that in order to speak poetry or to teach, to have a religious teaching, or to even, rituals, this cup, this is what it means. All across cultures, it kind of means the same thing. And sometimes one can forget that, but it's important to remember that, because once you begin to speak this ancient language, then you begin to understand where people are coming from and have this compassion to communicate with people. And the cup is one of my favorite ones. Um, Another symbol is the disc or the pentacle, as you know it. It's usually like a little golden coin with a five-pointed star, with the fifth point pointing up, and that is the symbol of the material realm. So this is you can one of the places you can really see it is the fact that money symbolizes this cup. We this coin. The reason why we use coins is because of that ancient symbol. It could have been anything, right? It could have been like a wooden necklace. It could have been a rock. It could have been a little sphere. But we all across the globe decided that a flat piece of circular metal coin, a disc, will symbolize wealth and something that you can buy within the material realm, and that is the disc. So symbols sort of have this meaning that is deep and that is carried on from the ancient that we forget, and in forgetting, we tend to act in ignorance, which isn't good. One needs to be educated and integrate yourself with the past knowledge and see where we come from and how we got to where we are in order to act more cohesively and coherently. And so that is one of those things that I will be teaching my workshop. It's not just those two things, there's many things, different kinds of stars. Um, you know, there's a lot of examples that I can jump into, and maybe I'll throw one in before the end of the interview. But yes, that is exactly what I'll be doing. But the first part of the workshop will be teaching people about symbols. Second part will be using those symbols to paint a mural, and then the third part of the workshop will be a revision, getting the participants to speak about what they have learned and what they found connection with in that workshop.
That is so brilliant. And it's like a painting workshop, but also a history lesson at the same time, taking us back in time to ancient cultures and getting understanding of the symbols that are used, right? I mean, these symbols have been around for thousands and thousands of years, and there's such important messages and meanings within them. So, this is absolutely amazing. Mural painting workshop and a history lesson. Come and find out about all of this at Serenity Festival. Last thing we must talk about, Gumball, before we close off, is the art competition that Serenity Festival is running. So we're calling all artists, drawers, sculptors. You can submit your best artwork to Cindy. The emails are below this video or in the caption. So submit them, and the winners get a whole bunch of prizes. There's some day passes that you get, and the best winners actually come to showcase their art at the Serenity Festival. They'll have a stall set up or a stall available for them, and they can now set up their artwork to showcase all the people coming to attend the festival. So, what do you think about this competition? Do you think this is something that can get the art community excited and interested and get their creative juices flowing to come and contribute to this festival? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. I love art competitions. Every time I hear a competition, I'm always the first one to jump in. And art competitions, are very important for artists because they give artists reasons to create. It is very intimate. What's more intimidating than a blank page for an artist is a reason to create, and an art competition calls one forth to create and to submit for a purpose. And I think, artists really love to express themselves. That is why we choose to be artists, is because we have something to say. And you know, it's very important for artists to remember that as an artist, it is your duty and your responsibility to say what you feel is most true to you in fashion, in art, in poetry. So show up and present yourself in the best way possible. And everybody, I hope that everybody finds it meaningful and creates something meaningful out of this competition.
Yeah, that's wonderful. You're right. People need a reason to create. I write a lot of poetry. That's my way of expressing. But I don't really write poetry until I have a reason. Until like, hey, there's a open mic coming up, or hey, there's this event, or somebody needs a poem. It's difficult to find a reason when there's no reason. You know what I'm saying? So this is great. It creates a reason, lights a fire under you, gets you motivated, and brings out those creative juices. And come on, everyone, Gauteng, send in your artwork. This is an amazing festival to come and showcase, an amazing platform. There's so many creatives out there. I mean, at the festival, just like Gumball Green, Johnny, and their whole team creating murals, creating other artworks. So, everybody, come to Serenity Festival. We will see you there. Gumball, any last words before we close off?
Hmm. So, I guess if there's one symbol that I would like to maybe inspire people to look forward to, that I will definitely look into with our workshop, that I've really been sitting on for the past few days now, is the wand. And the wand sort of shows up in a lot of places. It shows up as a staff, it shows up as a goat, with a D, not a goat like the horn, but like like a staff. It shows up in a lot of movies. Harry Potter really plays on the wand, and the fun thing about the wand is that it represents the human will. So the wand is your will. It's your ability to sort of choose and pick out of this infinite storehouse of intelligence what you want. We find, like, as you can see, the way I'm using this pen right now is pretty much what a wand is, because I'm using it to facilitate myself to gather the words that I need in order to articulate what I'm saying out of the infinite store of knowledge that I have, to direct it out and say what I'm trying to say with the wand. And the fun thing about the wand is that it has a counter to it, like a it's one side of a two-sided coin. On the one side is your human will, and on the other side, it is what your human will has a relationship with, which is the infinite, the storehouse of the magic and the miracle and the information and knowledge and mathematics and science and all of it. And so the human will allows us. It's basically like you have the power to do whatever you want, and your power to do whatever you want is your wand. And the possibilities are the infinite storehouse of intelligence. And so it is fun to think of it in that way, in that the one sort of pulls out the selection of your choice and your will, your style out of the infinite. A good example is that a paintbrush is something like a wand. A pen is a wand. In my case, I use the paintbrush as my primary wand. And this wall behind me here is what I was able to pull out of the infinite store of intelligence and knowledge and miracle and art and understanding, what I thought was most representative of what I wanted it to be. And so that what I pulled it out of, that storage is the infinite store. And what I used to pull it out was my paintbrush. And this was the result. So that's just a fun symbol to remember. And there's going to be more symbols like that to learn about at Serenity Festival. So thank you so much for having me. Yes.
Gumball Green, this was such a fun talk. Thank you so much for sharing your background. and let's inspire everyone to create and express in the way that they want to. What is their magic wand? Is it a pen, or is it a paintbrush? Or is it even a hammer and a chisel if you're a sculptor? Whatever it is, find your magic wand and pull out from your infinite source of wisdom your creation to share with all of us, because we're all ready to see it. So, on that note, Gumball Green, thank you very much, and we'll see you at Serenity Festival.
Thank you for having me.